she wanted. We did things in our life that we never thought that we could do, but we did it anyway. So the thing about it is when we look at problems, understand that there is a solution. So there is a solution to the problem, a higher belief in the power that lies within all of us, the power that you were called to do this work, and understanding that you are significant. A higher sense of power, a higher sense of purpose, a higher sense of understanding why we are here. Because the thing about it is, these kids that we serve, one day they will come back and they will find you. You'll see them out in the community. Some of you have already experienced that. You'll find kids, you'll run into kids that you taught 10, 12 years ago who you probably thought could not succeed, would not do anything, and now they come up to you and they thank you for what it is you've done. And you see their children, and now they're raising their children. And the thing about it is, maybe all kids don't make it, but of course, it's not about the kids who don't make it. Though we want them to, there are going to be some kids who fall through the cracks. And then we have to deal with that too. But we have to keep pushing anyway, despite them. Because if we save one kid who could turn their life around to do phenomenal things, it is worth $1 million. I mean, it's worth more than that. There's no price you could put on it. So there is a solution. The solution is our belief level, understanding the greater sense of purpose behind what it is we do. You know, when I got the call from Leona Group, you know, I was inundated. I do a lot of stuff. I travel. I'm on the road. We build online programs. We're running another company. And, you know, I get a lot of calls, and a lot of times I turn business down because if it isn't the right fit, I don't do it. Because for me, this is not about the money. It's about the impact. I am here and I am living because of what you told me that I could do. So the thing about it is that for me, it's a higher sense of purpose, because sometimes when I get calls, if their spirit is not right, I will not do it. But see, when the Leona Group called me, it was amazing because they talked about all of you. And they talked about having teachers and educators who were the best in the world. And the passion behind Dr. Cole's mission and the message of what it is you guys do here and what you've done to change the lives of children resonated through the phone. And I was excited. I got off the phone and I said, you know what? I looked at my calendar and I said, I'm going to do this. And then I did a research on you guys and found out what you do and the schools you started and all the things you're doing and the triumphs and hills and valleys you've had to go through to be this great organization. I said, this is an organization I want to partner with. This is an organization I can partner with to have the solution to continue to empower kids. And see, the great thing about what it is you do is the fact that the kids that we serve right now, the kids that you serve right now, they will grow up and they will be somebody significant. I never thought that I could do this. I never thought that I could be what I am right now, but I am here because one teacher in 1977 told me what was possible. And I left that school system and I went to other school systems and I failed miserably. I didn't do very well because my father became very disconnected. My father became very introverted. My father became one who didn't believe in anything, because now my father has to work odd and end jobs. And so my father's trying to support us, and I'm this kid that's going through the system. But despite all of that, because of what Miss Ritchie said to me in 1977, it was those words that inspired me to continue pushing forward, even when I didn't want to. I went to another school system, befriended some people, befriended some adults and things like that, and then me and a group of other kids, because we're all in Section 8 housing, and we're all together, and we're in this one particular person's classroom, and he inspired us to be great. He was a teacher who was phenomenal. Noah, he was very good. I mean, Neighborhood Watch Guy Teacher of the Year, so another teacher we could connect to, another teacher who we believed in, but nobody understood that the same teacher who was connecting with all of us was sexually assaulting all of us too. And people say, Mark, why would you tell that story? Because it's real, and I ask your permission to be transparent. But here's the thing. Despite the fact that what this man did, and he was caught and prosecuted for his crime, but we moved on anyway, and it was Miss Ritchie's voice that was in me that says, you were resilient, you were significant, you were still worth something. But of course, life was still bad. Life was still challenging. And I went on and on and on and on, and I wish I could tell you that life was great, but it was a lot of hills and valleys. But it was Miss Ritchie's voice that was inside of me that kept me from doing a lot of crazy things. I joined gangs. I was in and out of juvenile jail. I contemplated suicide, the whole 9 yards, but I am here because Miss Ritchie told me what was possible. You never underestimate the words that you can have for kids. One thing you could say, one thing you could do, one hug in one particular day could mean the difference between life and death. And you guys know I'm telling the truth because many of the kids who come up to you, they're not the same kids because you've inspired them to be great. And you look in their eyes and you feel good about what you do, and you should. Because when you feel good about what you do, ladies and gentlemen, it reigns true. It is incredible because when you feel good about what you do, your children will feel good about who they are. So the question is, a higher belief in a power that lies within all of us. Well, what does that mean? Well, teachers are heroes. And so what if there were some keys that could unlock the door? What if there was a secret key that you could instill inside a child that helped him or her to believe that nothing was impossible? What would you do? How would you feel? Well, you know, Dr. Bill Coates stated that the Leona group with the belief that believes that all children, regardless of ethnicity, economic status, or educational disadvantage, can and will learn and achieve. Pulled it straight from your website. I researched this man because I wanted to know, who am I speaking to? Who am I speaking to at this organization? Who is this guy who started this? Who is this guy who has this belief that all children, regardless of ethnicity, economic status, or educational disadvantage, can and will learn and achieve? That is incredible. That is amazing. And I was inspired. Because see, here's the thing. And I'm going to say this up front. And hear me when I say this. There is something in this country where there are people who say that if you're black, you can't help white kids, and if you're white, you can't help black kids. That is a lie. Because it's not about color. It's not about black or white. It's about presence. It's about purpose, passion, and presence. And when you understand why you're here, when you understand that you're here for a greater sense of purpose, color is irrelevant. I was the only black kid in my school for a long time, me and Russell. And I think there was a kid named Kenny. 3 black kids out of 600. Miss Ritchie didn't care about our color. She cared about who was inside of us. She cared about the kid. So if you're a white teacher and you think you can't help black kids, that is, listen, that's not true. It's about understanding that you're here for something bigger. And if you love your kids and you tell them that you love them and you show them that you love them and you hold them accountable, it doesn't matter if you're black or white, they will respond. And if you're black and you think you can't teach white kids, same thing. I had a teacher who said, well, you know, I can't teach. Well, you know what? It's not about color. It's about presence. Because Miss Ritchie, I mean, she's white. She helped me. And color never came up once. And many people say, well, Mark, how do you think this teacher helped you? I mean, you know, how does she do it? She did it because she loved me. She did it because she had a higher sense of purpose. She did it because she was passionate about her job and she was present. Simply meaning that when she showed up, she was there. When she talked to me, she was present. And she would talk to me and she would say, Mark, you're significant. How you doing today? I truly believe in you. Man, you know what? You're not doing this problem right, but you know, that's okay. We're going to keep working. Hey, you know what? You got a 3 more, right? You did today than you did yesterday. That is incredible. Wow. How did you do that? So now all of a sudden, she started helping me to teach her how I succeeded. So one of the greatest secrets to the solution to how this is helping our children to understand that when they succeed, ask them how they did it. And you know what will happen? They will respond. They will tell you how they did it. They will tell you, I did it through this. And now they become excited because now they see that you're invested in who they are. And the thing about it is, when I read this, I was inspired because I said, you know what? It's time for total transformation. You know, Dr. Coates, when he stood up here and you talked about kids who came into your school systems and they were one way when they came in, but after a few years of sitting up under your belief in who they could become, now they've changed. That's an amazing thing. See, back in the early 60s, you know, President Kennedy did the same thing. And when I read that, it reminded me of Kennedy because back in, I think it was May of 60 or I think it was 1960, I believe, President Kennedy, you know, he made an announcement. Anybody remember what the announcement was? Came on the news and he announced something. What did President Kennedy announce in 60? What was it? Absolutely. He came on national TV and says, America, we're going to the moon. Can you imagine how absurd that was? How many people looked at him and said, are you out of your mind? Are you serious? You mean to tell me that we're going to the moon? They didn't even have the technology. But President Kennedy, he had foresight. He looked into the future and said, I see us going to the moon. You mean to tell me that our doctor here looked at one particular time through all of his educational experience and sat down one day and said, you know what, we can do it better. We can make a difference. I believe that we can do better than what we're doing, and he thought it, and it manifested. I want you to think about that. We are here in this room, right here, right now, because of a manifestation of a thought. One man who thought something and believed in it and pushed forward despite the obstacles, because believed that when he thought it, there were probably people who came against him and said, you are crazy for thinking this. It can't be done. But guess what? We're all here, tangible, sitting in our seats out of a thought. And that is transformational. That is how you bring about change. You think it and you do it despite the obstacles, because I'm sure, Doctor, it could have been a lot of times you quit, right? Could have been a lot of times you given up, right? But he did it anyway, despite the obstacles. And what is the result of that? The result is that we all sit here better than we were before, higher levels and higher achievers, and children's lives have been saved because of him and his belief in all of you and all of your belief in all of them. And all of a sudden, we begin to have transformation. Because when you have a system that works, things will happen. And so, Doctor, I had to commend you on that. That was just amazing, because when I read that, I said it's time for total transformation. So, what I need everybody to do is to understand this, is that when you have a system that works, it will work. When you have a system of belief for children, for them to achieve great things, anything is possible. And people say, Mark, does that really make sense? It does. So what I need everyone to do, I need everybody to stand up for me. Just stand up. Okay, now what I need you to do quickly. All right. Okay, what is your name again, sir? Andy. Andy, come up here, will you? Just stand right there. Okay? All right, Andy, that's good. That's good. Okay, so just face me, Andy. So what I want you to do is take out your left arm, put it out, thumbs down. Okay? Right arm, thumbs down.